Rocky Five. It's my favorite of the five films. Uh, it's about a man who was forced into retirement over a brain injury, and he had to move back to Philadelphia and all that shit. And, you know, it was basically back to square one. He felt it. He felt it was like, and in a sense, it was. And he meets a young man who was just as hungry as he was when he was his age, and that young man ended up turning against him at the end, you know. I'm assuming that you saw the movie already. There will be spoilers. So if you ain't seen it, don't watch this video. I'm just going to pick out different scenes and just dissect the fuck out of it. Let's see. In the beginning, we see Rocky shaking, and, you know, and he's like, I can't stop my hands from shaking, you know what I'm saying? So they went to the doctor, and come to find out he had brain damage, and it said if you keep on fighting, it's gonna get worse and all that shit. Might end up in a fucking wheelchair, you know what I mean? I think that's what they told him. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure if he would have kept fighting, he probably would have ended up in a wheelchair. So I got lost my spot. There was some group of youth that was coming my way. That was pretty loud and shit, so I got up. Anyways, so Rocky he was forced to retire, and basically give up his dream. You know what I'm saying? Even and to make matters worse, Paulie's retarded ass, his brother-in-law, ended up somehow signing with an attorney or some shit. Stupid ass didn't read the fine print. Anyways, he was scammed. So they lost, so they got bankrupt and shit. And Rocky was like, just a few more fights, you know what I'm saying? I could get us out of this rut, you know what I'm saying? Adrian was like, no, you have to retire now. It's over, you know what I'm saying? So eventually she convinced him to retire, you know, because he loves her, you know what I'm saying? So, anyways, he had to move back to his hometown, Philadelphia, and basically live like I used to. I know now at this point he has a son now, you know what I'm saying? And his son was going through his own issues moving there, because the boy never lived a less fortunate life. He was born into a fortunate life, you know. So he had his own battles to deal with and shit like that. And basically, Rocky was like, fuck it. What can I do? You know what I'm saying? And then Duke rolls around and offers Rocky another shot. You know what I'm saying? Somehow this fucker got Rocky's medical records. And I think that's worthy of a fucking lawsuit. Because Adrian told the doctor nobody else has to know about this, right? He says no. So I guess Duke paid them off to give him the medical record. I don't know how the fuck he got them. But he knew about them. And he was like, we could work around it, you know what I'm saying? I'll put you in some soft fights, you know what I'm saying, to get your shoes back in your new boots. Get some money in your pocket. He said, how'd you, he said, what's it feel like? He said, what does it feel like to reach in your pocket and you feel nothing? You know what I'm saying? You know, he said, I could make you so much money you could swim in it. Rocky was like, this would be a good opportunity. But Adrian comes out of nowhere from her pet shop job that Rocky didn't even know she actually was working at. And she was like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? Leave him alone. You know what I'm saying? He's retired. He's done. Because Rocky was going to take it. This man wasn't ready to go, man. I mean, he had a lot of athletes go through this, whether you're a wrestler, football player, especially if you have to retire, not necessarily due to old age. It could be an injury, you know what I'm saying? It hurts that you have to let go of your dreams that you love doing over something, over a life hurdle. And Rocky was suffering that, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't ready to go, man. It's like, but you know, but he put his wife first. He put his wife and family first. And that was that. But you can see with the Duke scene that he wasn't ready to go. He's like, this will be a good payday. You know what I'm saying? A few fights, you know, I'll be out again. I have a few fights, make some money. Then I just jump back out. That's what he was thinking. But, you know, Adrian talked him out of it again. And so he meets Tommy, you know what I'm saying? This young man who pretty much no doubt reminded him of himself when he was Tommy's age. You know what I'm saying? He was hungry, wanted to be a fighter. Like Tommy, Rocky grew up with nothing. I don't really know much about Rocky's father or his mother. I don't think they have a relationship. I don't think so. I don't know if his father abused him like Tommy's father did. But basically, it's similar. They grew up with nothing. They had no role models. They grew up pretty much on the street fighting and shit. You know what I'm saying? To survive, having jobs here and there and all that shit, hustling and all that. So Rocky pretty much grew up like that. You know, he was illiterate and probably dropped out of school. He probably dropped out of fucking elementary school for all I know. Rocky Balboa, you know, but Tommy, you know, he probably graduated. Who knows? He probably graduated out of high school himself, you know. But looking back at Tommy's background, we learned that he grew up in a broken home. He had a father who liked to drink a lot to the point where he would have beat his mother in front of him. And then he also beat on Tommy, you know. And the first person he knocked out was his own father. And I think after he knocked out his father, or knocked the shit out of him, that was pretty much the end of the stick. Or the end. That was the end of the road for Tommy. The stick broke. It was done. And whatever fights that he, you know, he fought in small clubs as a young teen, as a late teen. You know, he fought people. Every person he fought, he always pictured that person as his father. Tommy had deep-seated hatred towards his father. And every opponent he knocked out, he felt like he was knocking out his own man. You know, so basically, that's pretty much Tommy's life in a nutshell. He grew up fighting in the streets, you know what I'm saying? Tommy wasn't the one to be pushed around. He wasn't bullied. He definitely fought. You know, he wasn't the type to be pushed around. He was bullied enough by his own father at his house. So I can imagine after school went out, he dreaded going home. You know what I'm saying? He knew that old man was there. And his mom probably wasn't shit. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it's like, that's the lifetime he grew up. And then he finds out about Rocky Balboa. Rocky at this point was already famous. He's already in the media and all that shit. And Tommy is like, holy shit, man. I look up to this guy. You know what I'm saying? This guy's fucking awesome, man. I want a man getting in the ring myself. You know, I would like to do that. You know, I bet he looked up. I bet he looked up to Rocky as a father figure because he never had no father, you know. And as a late teen, he read about him in the papers. Rocky probably wrote books when he was fighting and shit. He probably bought all Rocky's books and read them. I can imagine that. And Tommy pretty much looked up to him, you know. He even told Rocky himself, he said, I know when people didn't want to give you a chance. You know what I'm saying? How people didn't think you had it in you. You know what I'm saying? But he said, I know that you can make me a winner. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody can make me a winner, it's you. And some people may think Tommy was bullshitting to getting his foot in the door to Rocky. I don't believe he was bullshit. I believe he was genuine at this point. He wasn't corrupted at this point. He pretty much was sincere. He was a young man who wanted to make it in the boxing world, and the fact that he's met the man himself that he looked up to growing up. I'm pretty sure he was thrilled to meet Rocky. You know what I'm saying? By this point, he was only 20 years old. So he was still a baby, you know, basically, according to Rocky's standards. He was 20 years old, nice, young, vibrant. I mean, he had some little adjustments to make, you know what I'm saying? But that's nothing, you know. He's being trained by one of the best trainers you can ever find, which is Rocky Balboa himself, you know. So no doubt, Tommy looked up to him. I mean, this man took him under his wing, brought him into his home. He had a hot meal every night. He slept in Rocky's son's bed. You know, I mean, going back before these events, this man came from Oklahoma to Philadelphia. 2 different states, you know what I'm saying? So he was basically on the streets. You know, pretty sure he slept in shelters, on park benches and shit like that. Because Tommy pretty much said, I don't have any family back home. I don't have nobody. All you see is what you see here. That's all I have. You know. So Rocky takes him under his wing. He trains him, teaches him everything Mick taught him. And Rocky was like, this could be my chance to become relevant again. Because Rocky felt he was irrelevant when he moved back to Philadelphia. He felt that he was less of a man he was. And he was self-conscious on how people viewed him. You know what I'm saying? When people saw him on the street, walking down the street, because they knew he used to be this big shot. Now he's not. Now he's back home. He's back to square one and shit. He was self-conscious on what they could be thinking when they look at him and shit like that. And his words were, look at Rocky Balboa. He's just another bum in the neighborhood. Adrian was like, nobody's saying that. Well, she could be, which I believe she's right. You know what I'm saying? But he was like, no, Adrian, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it, Adrian. And Adrian was like, I know that when Tommy was winning those matches, you were winning. But at the same time, you lost your family. You pushed us in the back burner and put Tommy ahead. You know what I'm saying? So while Tommy was winning and Rocky felt he was getting relevant again, he was losing his family. And in the meantime, Tommy was fucking sinking. You know, like Paulie said, there goes your ship, Rock. He said, what? What ship? The ship that's sinking. Look over there. And you see Tommy with Duke taking a picture. You know. So by that point, Tommy was sinking. Of course, Rocky didn't want to believe it. Come on. He loved that man. He loved Tommy. He didn't see Tommy no betraying him and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So basically, Tommy let the negative press get to him. They was calling him Rocky's fucking puppet and all that shit. You know, he was letting that get to him. Then the money was getting to his head. And by the time the holidays rolled around, which was Christmas and all that shit, this man was 22-0. So Tommy was undefeated. He defeated 22 fighters. So if it was a year by that point when you learned that he was 22-0, he had at least 2 fights a month. About 2 fights at least a month. And he was talking about we ain't made any serious money yet, you know what I'm saying? He was already gone at this point. Because Rocky told him to bring the car back, because he knew that by George Washington Duke buying that car for Tommy, he was trying to reel him in like a fish. That was his hook, reeling Tommy in. You know what I'm saying? Rocky knew this shit. And Tommy's like, I knew he was gonna tell me that. Why? The man likes the way I fight. You know, that's what Tommy said. He said, if you want to train me, do. If you don't, don't. You know what I'm saying? You took me as far as you could, but we ain't getting nowhere. He said, he said, look, I'm 22-0. Where's the money at? Where? We ain't made any serious money yet. I'm like, what the fuck are you smoking? You are making money, motherfucker. That shows you how fucked up he was at this point. Tommy was gone, man. He was fucking gone. And it was sad. It was heartbreaking to watch his fight against Union Kane. When he finally became world champion. Rocky was like, come on, Kane. He's like, come on, Tommy, slip the jab. Come on, He wasn't, even though he reinstated his relationship with his son, or brought back the relationship with his son at this point, he was still all for Tommy. He was still, he had that hope that maybe Tommy was going to come back. Tommy was going to repent, come back and say, you know what, I'm sorry. You were right. You know what I'm saying? Duke was trying to fucking swindle me, scam me. I want you to train me again. You know what I'm saying? I want you to be my manager again. Blah, blah, blah. Rocky had hope for Tommy that he would come back. You know what I'm saying? But the reality set in is that after Tommy won the fight, he was giving a speech. He was like, there's one man I like to think that make this all happen, that made me believe this is all happen. And he was like an angel on my shoulder. I'm going to go back to that saying in a minute. He's like an angel on my shoulder. George Washington Duke. I know at that moment, Rocky was broke, man. He was like, what the fuck? And then he had the nerve to say angel on my shoulder, which Rocky told him. I'm like, I'm an angel on your shoulder. I got you. But he used what Rocky told him to describe George Washington Duke. The man that told him, get off my car, this ain't no park bench. That moment, that scene, it always gets me when I watch it. Because you can see Rocky going. Okay. He was hurt. He was definitely fucking hurt, man. He took this man in his own home, put him ahead of his family. And he just lost him. I know it just hurt him to the core when he just thanked Duke. It's like, come on, man. And then the press conference after Tommy won, they was making fun of him and shit. And Tommy found out that his opponent wasn't fucking 100% well. He was under the weather at that point. And I know Tommy felt humiliated. Because George Washington Duke wasn't going to fucking tell him. But the press knew about it, you know what I'm saying? They said, no, he wasn't even fucking 100%. And the press being the press, Rocky Balboa, he'll never be. You should expect this shit. Rocky went through the same shit in part 2 when he was coming up. He had to deal with the fucking negative press and shit. Yes, he took it. Yes, Rocky didn't take it well. But I'm pretty sure by Rocky 5, he could have gave Tommy some pointers on how to deal with that negative shit. You know what I'm saying? Don't let the shit get to you. So fast forward to the end, George Washington Duke put it in Tommy's head that he had to defeat Rocky, because if he don't defeat Rocky in the ring, he'll never get the respect that he deserves. You know what I'm saying? The press and shit, they gonna always be on your back as long as you don't defeat Rocky in the ring, even though Rocky is fucking retired. Okay? So Tommy's fucking retarded ass, at this point, he's fucking gone. He said, okay, I'll fight him. Even though this man has brain damage, you're going to fight an ex-fighter who's retired for medical reasons. You can accidentally fucking kill this man. Not to mention that when Rocky said my ring's outside after he punched Mickey, he said, yeah, let's do it. He was willing to have a street fight with this man. A street fight! Well, they was fucking backdropping each other and shit and fucking no holds barred shit. And a bit of trivia for you guys, Rocky Balboa was supposed to die in that scene. And I can see why. I'm glad they didn't kill him off. But god damn it, from what we got, he could have easily fucking died. That man he was past his prime, he was done. And you had this fucking 21-year-old, 22-year-old just wailing on him and shit. This, it's crazy. And Tommy was nuts for even fighting it, let alone, he was nuts already for wanting to fight Rocky in the ring. And he was even more insane for agreeing to a street fight, fighting against this guy. So we know what happened. Rocky fucked him up. Yeah, he got Rocky down, but he's like, one more round. But Tommy's pride didn't let him walk away and shit. He already had Rocky down. He could have just went home. He could just let the man just keep talking. I already beat you, man. Fuck you, dude. I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? But his pride didn't let him say no. He's like, okay. And what did Tommy say when he faced Rocky again? After he said one more round, he agreed to one more round. After Rocky got back up and shit, he was like, I'm not finna just knock you out this time. I'm gonna put you through the street. I repeat, I'm not gonna just knock you out this time. I'm gonna put you through the street. See, Tommy was mad. If they don't tell you how far gone Tommy was, I don't know what will. It's sad that this man, he went from one state of his life into a whole complete another state, allowing money, negative press to get in his head, and George Washington Duke to fucking make him his fucking puppet, not Rocky's puppet. He was Duke's fucking puppet. Okay? Even if Rocky decided not to fight Tommy that night or just ignore Tommy after he punched Polly, Tommy's life was going to end. Not like he's going to die. He was going to be swept under the bus by Duke sooner or later. He was. Tommy's life was already over at this point because he already signed a contract for Duke to be his manager and all that shit. He already signed the papers because he told Rocky he was going to sign the papers that night he went to see him during Christmas. He said, I'm going to sign the papers with the man tomorrow. And that was before the fucking Union Kane fight. So he already signed a contract with Duke. His life was already going down a spiral as it is, even if he didn't fight Rocky. The only difference was, since he fought Rocky that night, the spiral came sooner than it was going to come. So there you go. That's what pride gets you, ladies and gentlemen. It goes before a fucking fall, like I said in my last vlog when I was talking about Ivan Drago. Pride goes before a fall. Don't you fucking forget it. It happened to Tommy. It happened to Apollo Creed. And that can also happen to you. With that being said, this is why Chromosome signed the fuck out. Peace and love. Good health to you all. And be safe out there. And if I have any afterthoughts, they will be in the description box. And I encourage you to read that if I do have some. With that being said, peace. I'm out.